Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Tech Informist. Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Kevin.
I'm Brad.
And on this episode, we are going to be talking about Splatoon 2.
Qualcomm tries to ban the iPhone in the U.S.
Samsung Galaxy Note 8 rumblings.
Bigsby still delayed in the U.S.
Tesla Model 3 deliveries are coming at the end of July.
Nokia 6 coming to the U.S. July 10th.
All right, so as you might be able to tell, Brad is feeling a little under the weather today. Summer cold time.
Summer cold. The joys of touching germy hands and things at the store, but that's okay.
Plus, you're working in cold AC now. You're not used to that.
I love it.
You're not used to that.
I'm not.
But you're enjoying it.
I don't even look at the temperature anymore.
Don't need to.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Only time you're outside is when you're walking from your apartment to your car.
Pretty much. And usually it's not that hot yet, so.
Right.
Yeah, everything's going really good, must say.
Yeah, gotta love it, gotta love it. But as we mentioned at the top of the show, today we were recording this on Thursday, July the 6th. The Nintendo Switch phone app is going to be going live with the release of Splatoon 2.
Man, I can't believe that's already here.
I know.
This year is flying.
The Switch originally came out back the beginning of March. I guess it was March 3rd. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Splatoon, obviously, it's been a couple years since it released on the Wii U. Splatoon is a very popular kind of shooting team-based game. I've unfortunately never played it, and I don't believe you have either.
I have not to my recollection. I'm pretty sure I have not played it. I just don't have a device to play it on.
Right. Neither one of us ever had a Wii U, personally. So
yeah.
But, man, I keep seeing Wii U's on Facebook marketplaces and things like that, and I'm still so tempted to jump and get one. But it's not a priority. But Splatoon 2, I do have a Switch. So
indeed.
And there's a lot of really great pre-order sales right now, especially for Amazon and Walmart, I believe, are both having it down in the $40-something range, which is down from $60. They're saving like $14 off the retail, but it's a physical copy. I don't know if I want this physical. I might want a digital. I don't know if there's digital sales. I haven't really dug into it that much yet. And for those of you out there that have played Splatoon and are very familiar with it, I'm curious to know what it is you guys are thinking about this coming release of Splatoon 2 on the Switch, if it's something you're definitely going to be picking up or holding back on. They talk about some new, not really new, but they're old maps from Splatoon 1 coming back. And it sounds like it's really going to be good. A lot of new little weapons. Some of the stages that I'd mentioned, let's see, are Moray Towers and Port Mackerel. Those are two stages that'll be coming back.
Just as a person who plays a lot of multiplayer games that has had multiple iterations of different games, it is really nice to see old maps come back in the newer game with the newer systems. I actually enjoy a lot of the older maps. It's funny how that works, how when the maps are brand new from the game, you're like, oh, this is okay. You get newer maps on the newest game, and you go back to the older maps, and you're like, I kind of really like these old maps now.
Right. Some of that original level design. And that's kind of the way it is with Titanfall 2 right now. I've been playing a little bit more the last couple weeks. And, again, they've been bringing back, like, each DLC period, they'll release a remastered map from Titanfall 1. And it is kind of nice going back and playing those maps again that we're still somewhat familiar. Still takes a little while. Okay, where do I go? I remember this map, but where do I go again? Because, again, late to the party as always with Titanfall 1.
Yeah.
So it's not like I spent months and months playing it and getting super familiar with it. But it's fun, and I do think I probably will get Splatoon 2. I just don't know if I'll get it at launch.
Might wait on it.
But again, that money savings on it.
Well, what's got me really interested is that they're launching the, like you had mentioned, app on July 21st for iOS and Android. Sorry, Windows Phone.
Yeah.
But anyway, they are launching it on July 21st. I'm really interested to get my hands on that app to see kind of the inner workings of it.
And what we can look forward to moving forward, because that's the basis for voice chat in the system.
Which is so... As of current, it is so weird because most systems have their own set of voice command, controls and such. So to have this separate on your phone, you're going to be burning battery on your phone. It would be really kind of nice if I could plug it into, my Surface and have an app there.
Right.
Or get on a web browser and have an app there that I could do the same things, because I may not want to burn through my voice chat on my phone, or the battery rather.
Well, I guess they kind of feel that you might be at home.
Which, that would be the case.
You can easily plug your phone in, unless you've got a newer iPhone like the 7 or 7 Plus. Then you've got to get an adapter.
Yeah.
That's, the Apple motto, adapters.
I don't know. It should be an interesting time.
Yeah, so there's going to be, I believe even today or tonight, you can download the demo that's going to be available for about 4 hours on the 15th, I believe. So to kind of get that week before, little pre-action to start getting a little feel. And one of the things they did say is that they will have free DLC. So free updates essentially for the next year, and they will be running those little contests. I'm trying to think what they're called.
Well, I think it's a really cool idea that most games now are going towards that free model for the maps, because if you have to charge for the maps, you split your player base, and then you kind of alienate a lot of people, and the game dies quicker. Whereas games like Gears of War, Halo, have been doing that whole freemium model where you can buy extra stuff to sort of help pay for the maps, but you don't have to.
Right.
And you can just buy the base game and play it and never have to spend a cent. I've spent a few things because I love Gears of War, and I don't care. I love that developer.
Right.
And we just happen to own them now, so that's super cool.
Yeah, that's another thing with Titanfall. That, with Part 2, they keep releasing all these free DLCs. Yeah, if you want to get Prime Titans and all these other customizations for your Titan and colors and all that, you can pay for that if you want it, but otherwise it's just free to play after you purchase it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So those were Splatfests that Nintendo plans to hold on a regular basis in the game for 2 years after its release. That's cool. They're definitely going to support it for at least two years.
That's more than I can say for a lot of games.
And that could be plenty of time for them to come out with Splatoon 3.
Yeah. Definitely in that window. And even after they stop support for those first 2 years, I mean, the game is not just going to automatically shut off or become unplayable. People still play Counter-Strike, and that game's, 17 years old now?
Roughly, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Tom Clancy's Counter-Strike. Old school there. Next up, Qualcomm. Apparently this legal battle between them and Apple is really getting a little bit heated, because now Qualcomm is trying to ban iPhones from being sold in the United States. So this is the latest escalation of this global legal fight that they've got, and Qualcomm is actually asking the United States government to ban the new iPhones from coming into the country. And it also wants sales halted on iPhones that have already made their way in.
So what I guess I don't understand is, why can't they just pay royalties? Why do they just get banned?
Well, I guess that's one of the reasons why it's getting to this far, is that Apple apparently doesn't want to pay the royalties, or they don't really feel they've violated these 6 patents that Qualcomm is saying that Apple have violated.
So then I guess the next thing is, there's a couple questions here, but one of them, if they got banned, would this be good for consumers? And my answer is absolutely not.
No.
This would, for your scalpers, this would be fantastic.
Oh, they'd love it.
because you could sell a base iPhone for probably $1,000 and somebody would buy it because iPhones would be really hard to get a hold of for some period of time.
Yeah, for however long it takes to get this resolved.
Just imagine telling America, hey, you can't buy an iPhone right now.
Oh, my God.
People would lose their minds. So to see this actually go through it's probably very doubtful. However, it's an interesting thought exercise, and I like to kind of think, well, what would happen if that were the case? Like, Google is sort of having a monopoly on the phone industry is not really great. I don't like the sound of that because, again, competition makes things great.
Right.
So I don't see this happening. But the question is, does Apple pay, or are they truly not faulting on these?
Well, apparently these patents have to do with extending a phone's battery life, which none of these are supposed to be essential to a standard. That's according to Qualcomm. But it means that it isn't required to license them, as it is with other patents that the two companies have been and still are in disagreement over.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. This is going to be very interesting because Apple claims that Qualcomm is charging disproportionately high fees for the use of its patents and abusing its position as the market leader in smartphone modems.
And we've seen this with Microsoft and Google duking it out. So this is just this isn't new. Like, we've seen this before. So I'm sure eventually one side will give in. It's just a matter of who. Because, I mean, Apple I would not want to be up against Apple. I'll tell you that.
They've got very deep pockets to drag it out for as long as they want.
Some of the deepest, I would say.
Yeah. So one of the most, if not the most valuable company in the world that I can think of.
Yeah, and I mean, not to say that they're so big they can't fail kind of thing. I still think they should still be held accountable.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what I was trying to say. It was just more of, there's quite a bit of fight in them. They have the money to do it, and if they really do believe they are not infringing on any of these patents, I'm pretty sure they're going to put up that fight.
Yeah, it seems that way. And Apple has filed its own lawsuit alleging kind of the same thing relating to sales of smartphone modems.
Countersuit.
You're right, yeah. So they're doing some countersuing as well. It's just a big legal mess. And it's been a while since we've really heard anything about.
Well, everybody was kind of playing nice for a while, and I guess Qualcomm, I don't know what happened with them. They just decided, hey, we're going to sue Apple.
Yeah, okay. So we'll see how that goes and if it does affect anything. I mean, can you imagine if this really does get through over the next couple months with the iPhone 8 getting ready to drop?
Oh, that would be nightmare for them. And again, that leads me to believe that one of two things are going to happen. If they truly are infringing and the court finds that or something, they'll just pay, or they're not going to be selling any iPhones.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what the United States government decides to do. And this was filed with both the U.S. International Trade Commission and the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California, where the two companies' other claims are being hashed out. Good old Samsung Galaxy Note 8. As many people know, the Note 7, which is actually starting to come back out refurbished over in Japan with smaller batteries.
Yeah, it's a special edition. It's like Galaxy Note 7 FE for fan edition or something like that. Weird, I guess, a little. I don't think I would still try getting one. I'm sure it would be fine at this point. I think I'd just wait for the Note 8 at this point.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to.
We're starting to finally get some rumors and specs and release dates and things like that. So,
yeah. In the United States, it would be a Snapdragon 835. And if you're kind of overseas, UK, Japan, some other areas around the world, be the Exynos 8895.
I wonder why they do that.
It could have to do with licensing issues, similar to Microsoft or not
Yeah.
Microsoft, but Apple, and I don't know. I don't know why they.
And I wonder
really
which
do that.
phone runs a little better, because I'm sure one of them has an advantage.
They've done comparisons with past models, obviously, that are kind of in a similar situation. I want to say the Exynos typically has a slight edge overall.
Interesting.
If you were to really break it down and say, okay, this gets this score, this gets this score, this gets this score.
Yeah.
I think the average kind of all leans towards the Exynos. 6 gig RAM, 64 or 128 gig of storage, and a micro SD slot. Now, again, this is all kind of what we are somewhat expecting, and this is what Evan Blass, EV Leaks, put out on Twitter. 3,300 milliamp hour battery, 6.3 inch Super AMOLED Infinity display. Dual 12 megapixel rear camera with optical image stabilization, wireless charging, and an S Pen, iris scanner, rear fingerprint scanner, DEX support, water resistance, and rumored colors are blue, black, and gold.
So DEX support, as in kind of like the Continuum, their version of Continuum, right?
I believe so, yes.
And then, you think they could add any more on their display features? Super AMOLED Infinity display. It's just calm down, Samsung. It's not that serious.
Yeah, they like to think it is.
They always give really funny names to try to Applefy it, like the taptic feedback.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's haptic, but that's adorable.
So this display is actually just a little bit larger than the Galaxy S8 Plus, which kind of makes you wonder, if you want something like this, are you going to be fine with the S8 Plus, or the really big differentiator is the S Pen?
A lot of people seem to really like that pen. It's not for me on a phone. I would rather have it in a tablet, which I do, but that's beside the point.
And I wonder if I did own a Note, if I would use the S Pen more than I found myself using it whenever I get review devices.
That's interesting. 6 gigs of RAM.
It's a lot.
That's a lot, but why?
Samsung typically needs it. So...
Well, when you, I guess when you overload it with too many things and you don't have a clean image of Android, yeah. But I don't know. It just seems overkill. Like you would never get to that point, but maybe you will.
Yeah, 128 gig of storage. That's always nice to have as an option. I always recommend something in that neighborhood. Minimum 64 these days. I mean, if you have the option, I would go with the 64 over 32. But again, it's just me.
Yeah, LG.
Yeah. The S8 Plus actually has a 3,500 milliamp hour battery, so it's a little bit more than the Note 8. That's interesting. I guess you factor in the space needed for the S Pen.
Right.
Again,
so you lose a little battery. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the S8 Plus is kind of a Note. I don't know. I guess we need to get our hands on it and actually see. I'm sure there's some premium what's it, and I'm sure with the price that's definitely not in U.S. dollars.
No,
I'm sure it's going to be over $1,000. It'll be like 1,100 and some change.
Yeah, it's usually not much, but it is a little bit higher than the regular lines.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. Anything over, I don't know, 900 is ridiculous for a phone. Like even 800 and 700 is a little ridiculous, but over 900, come on.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I really can't remember now what my 7 Plus over here cost. I went with the 128 storage option, and I'm glad I did. But
I feel like we're getting a little out of hand. And we were talking before the show how both of our fathers had gotten the Samsung J3, like
really
super low end phones. But guess what? They don't have to pay those outrageous costs. They own the phone. They're done.
Yep.
They just pay their normal cell phone bill and they're on their way.
Yeah, I think my dad paid like $180 for it.
Yeah, so
it's done.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna worry about it.
Can't blame him.
And for what he uses it for, he doesn't use it like a quote-unquote power user. I wouldn't say I'm a power user, but...
Yeah, definitely not.
I mean, I kind of showed him. I'm like, well, here's the newest version of the LG G2 that he used to have is now the G6. I did show it to him.
Love it.
He's like, I don't want to get into making payments on a damn phone, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't blame you.
I don't blame him. Again, I envy those people that just kind of don't pay attention in the tech world. Cause...
In a way, I do too. It's like, life must be so much simpler.
Yeah.
In a way.
Just hand it over to somebody and fix it.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. But we're kind of looking sometime in August for the Note 8 to officially be unveiled. And we'll see. The obviously event invites have not gone out, but they're kind of expecting it to be unveiled before the Berlin-based IFA trade show, which is late August.
Yep. The last day of August, I believe, is what we said last week.
Something like that, yeah. So we'll see. Not too far away, considering we are wrapping up the first full week of July 2017.
It's crazy.
Time is flying,
So
man.
crazy.
Time is flying. I think I posted something on Facebook within the last week that, it had to be Monday, that there's only like so many Mondays left until Christmas.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Man, the hate I was getting from that from some people. It's like, hey, it's okay. Just dancing reindeer. Get over it.
Oh, man, I wish I would have saw that.
Music.
I'm going to go find that after the episode.
That's funny.
And just a real quick aside, I'm not a fan of summer, and most people know that
Right.
who listen. I super enjoy fall quite a bit.
Yep, I do too.
And especially the beer that comes with it.
Yep, the beer, the slightly cooler temperatures where you don't walk out and your breath's taken away. And I don't know, something about, and I know a lot of people, man, they hear Christmas music and they just like cringe like nails on a chalkboard. Sometimes, random times throughout the summer or spring, I'll just start randomly humming a Christmas song.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Okay,
I
you
do
too?
not know why. I'm like, why did that pop into my mind? But yeah, I'll hum it for a couple hours and whatever. It just is what it is. Nostalgia. A lot of good memories from Christmases of years past.
Maybe if you're good enough, you'll get a Galaxy Note 8 or something.
Yeah, I'll put under my tree. Right. Yeah, we'll see. In a little bit more Samsung news, Bigsby, the voice assistant that Samsung was supposed to be rolling out way back a few months ago with the Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus here in the United States. Bigsby's still not there, and it's reportedly due to a lack of data.
So I don't mean to interrupt real quick, but right below the title that's Bigsby reportedly delayed, it says, "Hey Bigsby, cancel my anticipation."
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, so this is from The Verge, so good job, Nat Garun. If I butcher your name, I fully do apologize. Yeah, so Samsung's already missed its deadline to launch the full version of Bigsby's voice features in the United States, which
Shocker.
was supposed to be done back in spring.
It is now summer.
Yes. And according to a new report by the Korea Herald, the delay was not just caused by linguistic issues of Bigsby struggling to understand the English language, but Samsung also lacks enough data needed to develop Bigsby's deep learning technology.
What a surprise. Imagine saying things into your phone needs lots of data. Just ask Google or Microsoft or Apple.
It's a good thing Samsung's spending all this time and money trying to reinvent the damn wheel.
Pretty much. You've got 3 companies that already do it pretty well. They're iterating on it constantly.
One is the foundation of the operating system on these devices.
It's already built in. I mean, I know Samsung tries to do everything themselves in case, like, this was all in preparation for in case something happened to Android. Well, Android's not going anywhere as far as I
wouldn't
can
imagine
tell.
it will.
They seem to be doing just fine.
Mm-hmm.
However, like you said, reinventing the wheel. I don't understand. I don't know. I just tell people to replace that button with Cortana or something,
Yeah.
because it's going to be more useful than Bigsby at this point.
Yeah. So it's unclear whether the lack of big data means that not enough people signed up for the beta that I believe came out kind of a limited release back in June, or the research team just haven't received enough diversity in voice samples. Because that's the thing with the United States. It just kind of goes all over the place. I mean, here in Missouri, for crying out loud, you have all sorts of different dialects, we'll say, depending on
that's very true.
on where at in the state you are.
Yeah, it could be Missouri or Missouri, depending who you talk to.
Yeah, and that could just be two neighbors that have grown up next to each other their entire lives, pronouncing it differently.
Yep.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Missouri. It's not Missouri.
Yeah, I kind of want to wring their neck when I hear that. I know I've mentioned a few times Justin Scard, YouTuber. Mm-hmm. I think he does it ironically, but when he went through Missouri on the Route 66 trip that he just did, he kept saying Missouri. And he has said Missouri before, so I think he just does it ironically, which is fine because he's a goofy fellow.
Yeah. And obviously, sometimes the further south or further east you go, you can really get into some big old different dialects.
Think Boston.
Yeah, some thick accents.
Yeah, I mean, good luck.
It's almost like being in another country sometimes. You surround yourself with a bunch of folks from Boston or people in Brooklyn and the Bronx and New York, and
then you have
get yourself down in Alabama, down southern Alabama or New Orleans. Holy cow. You're
Montana.
like,
I mean,
yeah,
we're all over the
get
place.
Down in Texas, I learned that when I went down and visited with Daryl a couple years ago. It's like, wow, this is different down here.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can get along with. I don't think I've got an accent. I don't.
But we do, because when they hear you, like when I went to New York and we were with our New York friends, they're like, "Oh, you've got that farming kind of community accent."
Got
like,
that farming talk there, don't you?
I'm gonna.
It is really interesting how the different areas have different dialects and accents and stuff like that.
I feel like the most normal accent out of all of the states is probably California. I don't feel like there's a Californian accent. They're just normal-ish.
I don't know. I don't know. You talk about that surfer boy, dude. That's so cool, man.
That's like Hawaii.
Was it Jeff Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Sean Penn. Oh my God. Or Jeff Bridges is the dude.
That's what I was just thinking about.
I'm the dude, man.
All right, now that we're way into the weeds.
Yeah. And another story that is near and dear to Brad's heart.
Tesla.
Yes.
So the Model 3 is getting very, very close to deliveries. In fact, they're like 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Initially, I think it's supposed to begin on July 28th. It could be sooner, though, from what I've understood through Elon's tweets.
Well, I believe production is supposed to fully, officially begin next week.
That's what I'm thinking. And then 30 customers for the Model 3 will be getting keys on the 28th.
The first 30.
So that is super exciting, and it's pretty incredible, the scale. It is going to scale exponentially.
Very fast, yeah.
So August, they're thinking 100 cars. September, 1,500 cars. By the end of the year, they're thinking somewhere close to 60,000 cars. I think, if I remember the numbers correctly.
I think it's 20,000.
20,000.
But still, it's a heck of a ramp up.
Yeah, from 15,000 or 1,500 to 20,000. Imagine when this thing is in full production, because I think they're only using a third or half of the factory for this. Mm-hmm. So when they're at full capacity, that's a lot of cars.
They can be pumping these out pretty quick. I mean, we were putting out, when I worked at Chrysler, and it's been almost 10 years, I want to say we were putting out close to 800 trucks a day between the two shifts.
Wow.
Roughly between 700 and 800 trucks a day. So you multiply that by 30, and if it's 800, that's 24,000. That's moving. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of cars.
Yeah.
So they are going to be hitting the roads very quickly. If they can get this up to 20,000 by the end of the year, and then this time next year, you're going to be seeing these things all over the place.
And I cannot wait. And the best news I kind of heard this week also is Volvo is going to be, really jumping in with both feet on the electric and hybrid stuff. And that is exciting because it just shows that Tesla is making such a huge impact. It's the iPhone of the car industry. You can't look in any other way about it. And all of the companies that are still just like, oh no, oil's fine, it's not going anywhere, any of that's garbage. Like, look, this is the future, whether you like it or not. I truly believe that this is the future of cars. Hydrogen is too dangerous, and it is too hard to store. It just doesn't work, and there's too many ways. You have to go through too many steps to get to the product you need, whereas with electric, you get it from the sun, potentially.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you go buy all in on Tesla, you get the solar shingles, which powers the wall, or the wall battery.
The battery is the most essential piece out of everything that we're talking about.
Right.
Like, if you don't have the battery, you can't store the solar energy. You can't store energy for your house, your car, anything. Your phone. Think about all of those things that we store all that energy. Like, that battery is so incredibly important, and I don't think people understand that. But yeah, it's super awesome. I cannot wait for the launch of this thing. I cannot wait to see this for the first time on the road and just be like, there's a Model 3.
Yeah.
Like, sure, there'll be the base models, the most basic model, but eventually I'm going to have that car.
Yeah. So Tesla has an estimated 300,000 pre-orders for the Model 3, which means you will not be able to just walk into a dealership and drive away in a car, because at the moment, the Model 3 page on the Tesla website says that new orders will not be delivered, or will be delivered, in approximately mid-2018. So this time next year is, if you were to go on there and place your order now, you're that far down the list.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be some people that cancel, which is, it's fine.
Life happens.
Exactly. Whether that be the case, whether they just decided to get a car ahead of time, like you said, life happens.
Career changes.
Deaths in the family. Different cars come out that are maybe better. Yeah. I love competition.
Oh, yeah.
So here's to a bright new future, in my opinion. It's about time we get off of the that dinosaur oil garbage growing in the ground, so to speak.
A roughly 215-mile or 346-kilometer range when it arrives, and Musk has promised a sub-6-second sprint to 60
which is
miles an hour.
A refreshing thing to see, because I do not like a slow car.
No, you like to be able to put the pedal down and it goes quickly.
I like a little bit of briskness to my car. That's why I like the supercharger on my car. Now, obviously, I would love to have an electric car, but it ain't happening anytime soon.
Right. So, no, I'm looking forward to seeing this really launch and get out there and start driving around St. Louis. You see Model S's run around from time to time, and there's a couple of the Model X.
I almost see them every day now.
Yeah, I guess driving around the Brentwood area on 40 a lot. You do see a lot of them on Interstate 40, 64, whatever you want to call it, here in the St. Louis area.
Well, if you're from Missouri side, you call it 40. If you're from Illinois, you call it 64. I found that out.
Look at you, learning something. Going back to a brand that's still somewhat near and dear to us, Nokia. It's pretty much just Nokia in name only these days.
Yeah.
But the Nokia 6 is expected to hit the United States market on July the 10th with a 5.5-inch LCD display and a Snapdragon 430, all for $229.
Price tag's right.
Price tag's right, yeah.
And it comes in a bunch of decent metallic colors. This kind of reminds me of the HTC M1 or something like that. Mm-hmm. That kind of mid-range phone that was actually a pretty decent phone, to be honest. Fingerprint reader and all. So I'm kind of curious about it. I know initially I said on paper I wasn't crazy about it, but, seeing it actually, in renders, not bad. It's got a 3,000 milliamp battery. So.
It's a phone I'd push towards my dad if he needed to get another phone again.
Exactly.
For the price.
And I'm sure he's owned at least one Nokia in his life. Most people have, I feel like.
Possibly, yeah. Some older flip phone or something like that. Snapdragon 430, like I mentioned, which runs an 8 times ARM Cortex 853 at 1.4 gigahertz. Then Adreno 505. So you get 3 gig of RAM, 32 gig onboard storage with a micro SD card slot. Again, that 5.5-inch 1080p display. Not getting into 4K or nothing here for that. 16 megapixel rear camera with an f-stop of 2.0 aperture. Dual LED flash, as Brad mentioned, a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. This thing is going to ship with Android 7.1. Not bad.
Yeah.
Those colors are matte black, silver, blue, and copper.
Ooh, copper. Interesting.
That'll get your attention. Yep, and it looks like it'll work on both WCDMA and GSM/Edge bands. WCDMA bands 1, 2, 5, and 8, and GSM bands 850. These are all megahertz, 900, 1800, and 1900. So kind of cool.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see their higher end of the Nokia, because we've sort of heard
there's
speculations and things of what it could be. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's not official till it's official. But was it Nokia 9 is what they're going to call it?
Something like that. Yeah, there was like a Nokia 5, a 6, and I think the 9.
Maybe
like
even 10? Mentioned. I don't remember.
So according to anantech.com, the story we're looking at here, if you're in the United States, here are the carriers you can expect to get some support for. AT&T, it's partially supported. So you get 2G. Bands 29 and 30 are not supported for 4G LTE. So, Sprint, forget it.
Yeah,
Verizon, forget it. T-Mobile says supported. So it looks like T-Mobile will be your best option.
Yeah,
for this device.
Most of those GSM phones, especially around the world, it seems like GSM is just king. If you have AT&T and T-Mobile, you're usually fine.
And T-Mobile, you're typically even better.
And
best option.
The CDMA is really where things just kind of fall apart for you. So,
I mean, really, it's not too bad. The $230 for that 3 gig, 32 gigabyte standard model, and you can get for $179.99, so $180, you can get what they're calling an ad-supported model.
Now, what does that mean?
That's a good question. I'm sure you got a variety of little things that you would be.
I think if it has anything to do with the ad I'm thinking of, I think I'll spend the extra $40 or $50.
Yeah, so like because lock screen offers and ads and stuff like that.
Oh,
I wouldn't want to keep seeing that on my display every couple minutes or however frequent it would be.
No, thanks.
Yeah, I'd pay the extra $50, $40, whatever.
Yeah, I highly recommend our listeners do the same.
Mm-hmm. But the renders and everything, it looks like a nice phone.
It does.
It looks nice.
It does. Again, on paper, when we talked about it earlier in the year, I wasn't crazy about it, but seeing it kind of changed my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely something I would kind of at least want to see and hold.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whenever it does launch, I'll probably run over to a T-Mobile store or maybe check it out. I would hope it'd be able to be available in T-Mobile since it's the most widely supported network for it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if we'll even be able to look at one.
Come on, John Laguerre. Get it. Ledger. John Laguerre. Ledger.
I
don't know. I can't remember.
The guy that CO...
Stir stuff up in the cellular phone. Well, that does it for the regular news portion, and now we're going to talk a little bit app entertainment and hardware picks. First up, I do want to remind everybody that, well, tonight that we're recording this is the official release night at midnight or whenever. You'll be able to go see
Barney and Friends.
Barney and Friends. No, Spider-Man Homecoming is in theaters. I want to see it as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. I'm usually not a superhero person. I'll go and see superhero things with people who are legitimately excited about it because it makes me kind of enjoy it more.
Then you'd really want to go see it with me.
Yeah,
I'll be
potentially.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm interested. I'm curious.
So you've seen Captain America: Civil War, correct?
We went and saw it together.
Okay, we did. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting old, folks. It's happening.
In one ear, out the other.
In one ear, out the other. Yes. So we did go see Civil War. And what did you think of the Tom Holland and Spider-Man?
Initially, I wasn't crazy about it, but apparently in the comics, he's about more this age, and he seems to be
teenager stuff.
Yeah, they seem to be having more fun with it, like they are with most of the other characters, and I kind of appreciate that. I don't know if I like the whole super seriousness.
Yeah,
at least on the
Tobey
Marvel
Maguire
side.
and Andrew Garfield.
I mean, Batman's kind of a weird case. I really like the serious, dark, gritty Batman stuff, but
brooding and
but I don't know. Most of the angles on the other superhero stuff's more playful, I guess.
Yeah, with Spider-Man, he's always been kind of a wisecracking teenager. That's been his thing, man. He's always going to be joking with you while he's beating your ass.
Yeah.
So it's just how Spider-Man is. So
yep.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with a full-fledged film. Michael Keaton is the Vulture. Robert Downey Jr.'s in there.
Didn't he play like Birdman or something?
Yeah, which is so funny how it translates that he's playing the Vulture in this. So
that's
again back to being a bird guy.
Yeah, that's adorable.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, Michael Keaton does pretty good in superhero movies. I mean, he played Batman back in 1989. I'm Batman. That's just Michael Keaton, still one of my favorite Batmen actors.
Nope.
Wow, not for you.
I don't fall in that camp. I know I'll get hate for that, but that's
who's your favorite Batman?
It's freaking what's his name from the not the latest because absolutely
apparently
not.
Wasn't that good. You can't remember Christian Bale's name.
Yeah, Christian Bale. Yeah. That'd be it.
That'd be. I know Dark Knight Rises, and
it's hard to top.
Yeah.
Part of it could be writing, part of it could be character, and it's a combination of things.
This is a very nice mix that they did with Batman Begins.
I also really like Christian Bale as an actor. I feel like if he's in something, I'm more inclined to go see it.
Okay.
He's one of those method actors that really gets into his work to the point to where the one movie he won an Oscar for, he kind of starved himself, and he looked like skin and bones. Like he did not look healthy.
Was that the boxing movie?
I
can't remember.
Regardless, I think he's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does some pretty good work. Yeah, there's no denying
Not
that.
just because he's a method actor. So anyway,
right. So let us know. Are you going to go see Spider-Man? And if you do go see Spider-Man, let us know what you think. And then probably next week I'm going to let you know what I think. Because again, plans are that I am seeing it sometime this weekend.
Yeah.
Next up, I will let you talk about this because it's right up your alley.
It is. So Destiny 2, I'm sure you know, is a thing.
What?
Yeah, what's that? Coming out September, I believe 6th now. They moved it up 2 days, which is weird. But IGN does this thing called IGN First, where they kind of launch a lot of information about games. And it's the first place that you're going to see this information is from IGN. So they kind of partner up with developers, and they set out a kind of slow trickle of news, bites and clips and things that will be happening in the game that all you gamers like myself really want to know about and see for the first time, and that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, it's like a roadmap here from July 7th through the 28th. It's all broken down. Here's what we're going to be talking about on each of these specific days.
Yeah, and they already have out Vision for Destiny 2 and exploring the new social space, in quotations, The Farm, versus in quotations, the tower. And then they have our first impressions, PvP, like you were saying, and, it goes all the way down. Obviously, the beta goes live here. Wow, a couple weeks? Goodness.
No, July 18th, Destiny 2 beta live.
And then at the very last is going to be Ask Bungie Anything. So I'm going to be visiting this page frequently, and I encourage those of you who are Destiny fans to do the same.
So I wonder if for somebody like myself who has not played any of the Destiny series, I mean, I didn't want to get into Destiny at the very end. I mean, I already did that with Titanfall.
Yeah.
Think Destiny 2 is going to be something I'll be able to just jump right in?
Yep. That's exactly why it's designed the way it's designed. We are all starting over, essentially. There is a story behind why we're all starting over, so they're not just taking it all away and just not giving an explanation. Like, the story helps it make sense / eases the pain, I guess. I think it's awesome. Initially, I was like, oh, all that work for nothing, but it wasn't just for nothing. I had fun doing it. I still could go home and play it and still have fun doing it.
Well, I mean, your Call of Duty stuff don't transfer from Modern Warfare 2 to 3.
Exactly. It's the same concept. I know that this is a more livable, breathable world, but putting a 2 at the end of Destiny 2, they got to change some things. They got to try to get more players in. And, that's the same for Gears 2 to Gears 3 and so on and so on. And it's the same anytime you put a number behind something. You're trying to change it and get more people kind of invested into it.
Now, do we know if this is going to launch on both Xbox and PlayStation the same
day?
Okay. No exclusive or nothing
PlayStation will have exclusive content, but in playing all of the, in quotations, exclusive content that they have had, and then I get a year later after the fact, I'm over it. I'm whatever. I prefer the Xbox platform / controller. Not just because I work for Microsoft, thank you very much. No, this is an ongoing thing I have. It's the first console I've had outside of Nintendo that I enjoyed a lot.
Right.
So I would just be here regardless. But that was a deal they made. It's fine. It is what it is. I enjoyed it on Xbox.
And it releases August, what day?
September 6th.
September 6th, okay.
The beta is going to start July 18th for PlayStation, July 19th for Xbox if you have pre-ordered the game, and then July 21st or 22nd if you just want to jump in and see what it's about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to pre-order it or at least try it out on the 21st, 22nd, something like that.
Yeah.
To get a feel for it and if it's going to be something I'll be into or not. I think it'll be interesting.
Exciting stuff. Can't wait.
I guess it's a good thing that they released the Gears of War stuff now so that you can kind of get
every month is new Gears of War stuff. In fact, our store is helping in the esports arena. We're one of 30 stores that will be hosting Gears of War tournaments to kind of bring you up to speed on the esports arena, which kind of a bummer because I can't actually compete.
Yeah.
I can play, but I can't compete.
Right.
But it should be a really fun time. We're actually I believe we'll be giving away esports packs, which in the game cost, I believe $10. But you get some really special skins with those that you can't get otherwise, and once they're gone, they're gone. So,
wow.
Yeah, they're kind of exclusive. So I would recommend if you're in the St. Louis area and like Gears of War, check that out.
Right, or anywhere else near a Microsoft store
that supports
this. Having that for sure.
Because again, it's only 30 stores in the United States. So,
interesting. And probably by the time many of you hear this episode, Castlevania on Netflix, the new animated series based on the classic Nintendo video game series, is going to be available on Netflix full season. That looks interesting. There's a trailer on the Netflix page for it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
This is so weird.
It kind of is, yeah. So obviously, for those of you who may not know, it's a vampire It's a vampire hunter that fights to save a besieged city from an army of otherworldly beasts controlled by Dracula himself.
Does he have a name?
Well, I'm not sure in this one because you've got Simon Belmont, you've got some of the other characters and stuff like that. So it's not like just one person that's helping to do all this. So I'm curious to see how this is all going to really play out.
It's very anime-esque, and I mean that like endearingly.
Yeah, in a very good way. It looks great. I'm really curious to see how this is going to be. It's going to be dark and violent and TV horror, anime action, anime horror, and anime series. It's rated MA for mature audiences.
Interesting.
So it's not for your little kid. So I'm in. It drops July 7th, so actually it might come out at midnight tonight because that'll be July 7th.
Interesting.
Yeah, might watch an episode tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm off tomorrow, so.
There you go. Get you a couple. I mean, I like the image they use as the still for the trailer. It looks just like the original Castlevania castle there with that red moon.
Which is very important.
Right.
Next up, there is an iPhone case that I thought I'd share. A coworker of ours has this particular case on it, and it actually makes it look like a completely white iPhone, which I think is kind of super cool, being as I like a lot of white accessories. It's called Totally, I believe, and you can check out all of their stock at www.totallycase.com. That's TOTALLEECASE.
Yeah, it's like Totally Case.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how it's really supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah, I don't know either. But again, they have some pretty cool cases that they're what they sort of drive at is they're super thin cases. They also have some leather cases as well. They're a little more expensive than the other kind of more minimalist ones.
Yeah.
The more minimalist ones are formed around your phone so much so that it actually almost looks like it's a completely different color. So
it looks like a skin, actually.
Yeah, so you could actually have a red back on your black iPhone and have the whole red-black thing going like they should have had in the beginning.
Yeah, that's the one that stood out to me the most.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And honestly, that gloss white is amazing because the white with the white front and just have like that little bit of color around the ring on the front. I just think that they were a really cool case. Again, check them out. Just see if there's anything you like. They even have green. There's the red I talked about, a blue, and a like flat black and a gloss black. So,
and in that leather, I'm kind of surprised and bummed at the same time that there's only one color option.
Yeah,
black.
you would think that they would have at least brown because some people like the brown leather with their accessories. Oh, it's worth mentioning there is a like kind of a charcoal color too on the other case,
and it's available for the 6, 6 Plus, 7, and 7 Plus. Those are your 4 different options, and $19 for the thin and $29 for the leather. Interesting. It's got a 2-year warranty, so that's kind of nice. Free shipping on orders over $30. So again, if anyone listening has one of these, let us know what you think of it. You can even get screen protectors and charging cables. And you can get a $35 jet pack, which is a jet black and a jet white, so you can save $5.
Oh, ordering the two together?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Or you can get a set for the leather, which is the leather case, screen protector, and the charge cable for $55.
Yeah, I'm kind of half tempted to...
So you save $5 on that as well.
To kind of buy them or buy one or have somebody buy one and just see what it looks like in a different color other than white, because I've already seen the white on white and it looks really cool.
Well, your wife's got one. So.
She loves her glitter cases. If glitter was a color, it'd be her favorite.
Shiny. Yeah, maybe. I mean, for $19, I don't think it'd be too bad to just drop and get that. Maybe I'll get one. And then we can go from there and see just how nice it is.
Yeah.
I want to say I have seen Mark's.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, I like the Peel case, which I think this is kind of similar, maybe?
It is. It's very similar.
Just because I know the people that own Peel, based here in St. Louis, and really cool guys. So, but I'm always up to trying different things. Options. I like options.
Absolutely.
All right. Now it's time for Brad's beer pick of this week.
I thought it appropriate to kind of bring up this one. If I have said it before, I apologize, but not really. Being as it's the 241st birthday of America, I figure you should probably drink Merca by Prairie Artisan Ales. Now, this is a 7.5 ABV, so it's going to kick a little harder than your Bud Light that you had over the weekend. And 30 IBUs, meaning, a little more bitter as well. However, it is pretty tasty, and I just got to say, I love the label. It's great. It has all kinds of American doodads all over the American flag label. And honestly, what's not to like about a single hop farmhouse ale? So I suggest maybe picking one up, being as, it's kind of July and we always think America's birthday. And if you're in America and you like beer, well, maybe check out Merca by Prairie Artisan Ales.
Yeah, I think it would have been nicer if it would have been Murica.
Well, yeah.
Merca.
But I everybody, it's like Oktoberfest with a C or a K,
Yeah. Can't make everybody happy.
Right. The correct way to spell Oktoberfest is with a K, by the way.
There you go.
Just saying.
Yep. OC.
Samuel Adams.
Yep.
Looking at you.
Ooh, shots fired. Shots fired. Samuel Adams.
They
He's
do
a
have...
patriot, He's one of the guys that helped us with that 1776 Independence Day stuff.
They do have a really good pumpkin beer, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, Oktoberfest. Their pumpkin beer is pretty good, but their Oktoberfest is better, in my opinion.
For a wide release craft brewery, there's some really good options, I feel, from Sam Adams.
And I would venture to say that Schlafly, the St. Louis brewery, their pumpkin ale is probably one of the best in the industry. Mm-hmm. And if you have not had that, I will definitely be making that a pick later in the year at some point. Again, probably.
Which reminds me, I need to go find me some Farmhouse IPA.
It's back.
I know.
I need to go get some.
All right. God, we haven't really had a chance to hang out that much other than record our short episode and then go back our separate ways.
Yay, work.
With everything I've got going on and you working and having all this schedule, and of course you had your vacation and all this other stuff. And man, life just keeps happening so fast.
Yeah, I'm sure things will calm down eventually.
Yep. I know some things are going to calm down after the 15th. That much I do know.
Yep.
So, all right. Anyway, that does it for this episode of the Tech Informist Podcast. Again, always just let us know what it is that you are thinking, what's on your mind.
What you're excited about.
Right.
I mean, chances are we could get excited too.
Yeah. And if you want, leave us some comments over on YouTube, because it's available on the Tech Informist YouTube channel if you want to just kind of plug in and while you're at work and fire up some stuff in your YouTube queue and in a playlist or something like that. Let us know. Have a little conversation. We will respond, or we might even mention your question or your comment on an upcoming episode, because, hey, we just like to have fun.
Yeah, and the idea behind YouTube Red has been making more and more sense for me, because we've listened to a lot of Disney playlists on there lately, because you can't get the music otherwise, it seems, or it's really hard. They should just put it in the iTunes store, because I'd buy it instantly. But what are you going to do?
Yep, I completely agree. There's a lot of great things that you can find on YouTube that's a lot of times harder to find than anywhere else.
Yep.
At least on your more common things like Spotify, Apple Music, and Pandora and things like that. On Pandora, God, you'll hear the same thing. It's like listening to a top 40 station sometimes. You'll hear the same thing in a couple hours. And I know people are going to say, oh, why do you listen to that channel? We'll just use the Waylon Jennings station, for example. You'll hear Luckenbach, Texas, 2 or 3 times in an hour. Now, granted, I love the song. I don't love it enough to hear it 2 and 3 times an hour.
Yeah, that stuff drives me nuts. If I start hearing, especially if it's a song I don't like.
Yeah, exactly. No. I still like Pandora. Not to the point that I'd probably go premium. I think if I would premium on anything, it'd probably be Spotify. That would be more what I think I would go with. But that's just me. I don't know. That does it for this episode. Again, thanks for listening. Catch us online, and until we talk next time, consider yourself informed.
Ooh, sparkly.